Confusion, frustration, disappointment. They are all feelings that Browns fans have felt for far too long. But Browns fans, the horizon is bright and the team is on the cusps of greatness. There's a group of people who are leading the Browns and they're making a difference. Those people are Mayfield, Chubb, Landry, Bitonio, Garrett, Ogba, Schobert, Kirksey, and Ward. And they're all led by Freddie Kitchens. Get ready, Browns fans. Times are changing.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Captain Cardiac. And today we're discussing if the Cleveland Browns are finally gonna be elite. And I think most of the people watching have to admit, after this year, it's pretty hard to say no. This year featured the Browns going 7-8-1, which is their best record of the last decade. And this team also featured a whopping 4 Pro Bowlers. But we can't talk about this team's success without first mentioning Baker Mayfield. This has been a kid who has been exactly what the Browns have envisioned when they took him first overall. I mean, his rookie stats are insane. Over a 60% completion. And he broke the record for most touchdown passes thrown by a rookie. This kid also has some next level deep ball accuracy. He has made some really superhuman throws this year and has also made some throws that I'm willing to bet 31 other quarterbacks in the NFL cannot make. But that's not even the best part about Baker Mayfield. He has an elite level pocket presence. He has no problem from scrambling away from defenders, extending plays, and hey, if you need him to pick up a few extra yards, he can do that too. But ironically, that's not the biggest pro about Baker Mayfield. And Baker's biggest pro is also his biggest con. And that's his fiery leadership. Now, you'll quickly learn that Baker Mayfield's the type of guy who is loud, he is passionate, he likes to get his teammates inspired before games. He's the type of guy who, when you're down by a ton of points going at halftime, he's the type of guy you want to be on your team so he can hype you up and you guys can go back out there and have a chance to win the football game. But this fiery leadership is also sometimes turned into cockiness. Most notably when he stared down his coach Hugh Jackson on the Bengals sidelines. And it's a thing that a lot of people have criticized him for. He's made some bad decisions, but in this case, the pros greatly outweigh the cons. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has a Drew Brees-like arm and has next level leadership ability. He is admired by Browns fans and players alike, and he means more to the city of Cleveland than most people can understand. But let's also give credit to Baker Mayfield's playmakers. First, we have the Browns' top wide receiver, Jarvis Landry. This is a guy who he has been quickly breaking receptions records. And if you need a big catch on 4th down, throw it to him because he'll make that catch for you. And now moving on, we have Rashard Hollywood Higgins. He's a guy who before last year only the die-hard Browns fans knew of. But he's made some super nice catches this year. He's blossomed into one of Baker Mayfield's favorite targets. And of course, everyone absolutely loves his Hollywood touchdown celebration. But next we move on to Antonio Callaway. And if you don't know his story, he was a wide receiver from Florida and he looked like he could have been a first-round draft pick, but he unfortunately got into some substance abuse issues which caused him to drop to the Browns in the 4th round. But he has been an amazing speedster receiver for us. And you know that gunslinger quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield love nothing more than speedy receivers. So expect Antonio Callaway to possibly have a breakout year next year. And then lastly, we have the most obscure of the bunch in my opinion. Rashard Perriman. This is a guy who In Baltimore had a big case of the dropsies, but now in Cleveland, I wonder if he's even dropped a pass all year long. He's made some amazing catches, and I mean, gosh, he's showing why he was picked in the first round. Rashard Perryman, he's made me happy, man. I mean, he came out at a time when some of our receivers were getting injured, and he really locked down our receiving core and added another great addition. And then, of course, we have Nick Chubb, a kid, another rookie just like Baker and Antonio Callaway. He was just short of 1,000 yards, and really his stats would be more impressive, but he didn't start his first 5 or so games in the NFL. This was, of course, when the Browns were favoring more towards Carlos Hyde, and when he got traded, Nick Chubb took over. He's a guy who now has the longest touchdown run in Browns history, and he has everything you want to see in a running back. He has that breakaway speed. He can truck through defenders. He makes some absolutely beautiful cuts. And he has taken a lot of pressure off the Browns' run game. And quickly, let's look at the Browns' unsung heroes. Their interior offensive line, in specific, Joe Bitonio, Kevin Zeitler. These two guys are amazing. Joe Bitonio obviously is a Pro Bowler, and Zeitler really is deserving of that honor also. They both have made quite a few key blocks, and they're both guys who are underrated and deserve a lot more credit for giving Baker Mayfield all this time in the pocket and allowing almost no sacks the second half of the year. But this Browns offense isn't complete without their defense. A defense that was a little weird. 28th in yards allowed, but second in turnovers. It was a fun defense, and it without a doubt proves also why the Browns are elite. The leader of this defense, no doubt, is Myles Garrett. He has been exactly what the Browns needed and expected when taking him first overall a few years ago. This kid came in, he's already an elite level pass rusher in the NFL. You're talking 13.5 sacks. That's pretty insane. And his little tag team partner, Emmanuel Ogbah, isn't bad also. He's a guy who, when Myles can't quite apply pressure, he'll be right around on the other edge to do that. I do admit the defensive tackles are a bit of a weaker position. Larry Ogunjobi, he's been good, and Trevin Coley's been alright, but I really feel like if we got an elite level defensive tackle, then this defensive line would be almost unstoppable. And I want to quickly talk about our linebackers. I want to talk about a guy named Joe Schobert. This is a guy who is the most underrated linebacker in the league. No doubt in my mind. He's a guy who's the only Browns player to go to a Pro Bowl last year. He also tied the NFL in most tackles last year. This is a guy who made a bunch of clutch plays when the Browns needed it most. And he would have probably gone to the Pro Bowl as well this year, but he was briefly injured in the middle of the year. And may I remind you, every year Joe Schobert was injured, the Browns have lost a game that week. So his meaning goes unmatched. But also we have Christian Kirksey. He's a guy who his production isn't that great, but he is one of the best leaders I have ever seen on a football team. He's been nominated from the Browns for Walter Payton Man of the Year award. He loves to inspire his teammates. He takes more of a calm leadership approach as more of a contrast to Baker Mayfield and Jarvis's more fiery role. He's a Browns team captain. His teammates love him, and quite frankly, I think all Browns fans do too. But now moving on to our secondary, there's a few guys I want to highlight here. First off, of course, Denzel Ward, another Pro Bowl guy from the Browns in only his rookie year. He has been exceptional. People were saying we should have taken Bradley Chubb. I think we might be proving them wrong. The Browns desperately needed a shutdown corner, and Denzel Ward has been that for them. He has made a few very nice red zone interceptions. He has covered well against some of the best receivers in the league. I'm talking Antonio Brown, Julio Jones. But moving on, we have another Browns first rounder, but from 2 years ago, that being Jabril Peppers. Jabril came to his own this year. His rookie year was quite disappointing, and he looked like he could have been a bust at safety. But he has really taken over this year. It's easy to see that, especially against Denver, a game which he had a pick, a sack, and almost led the Browns in tackles. It takes a weight off our chest to have two of these great players in their secondary. And let's quickly talk about Demarius Randall, who we absolutely robbed when we gave the Packers to Sean Kaiser and got him in return. He's been another guy who has locked down the back part of the field at free safety, and he's made some big interceptions as well. But another thing about this Browns team that I feel like could help them potentially take off is their coaching staff. Our new head coach, Freddie Kitchens, is a guy who has never been an offensive coordinator or a coordinator before this year. He's just been a positions coach, but his teammates love him, or his players for that matter. He helps get his players hyped up. They all view him in a positive light. He loves to joke around with his players. He's an Alabama guy. He's funny to watch, and quite frankly, he's the most promising coach I've seen for the Browns in a while. And then quickly, our coordinators. Todd Mullen from Tampa Bay. He's going to help Baker Mayfield get into that second level. He ran the highest pass offense last year in Tampa Bay. Freddie Kitchens is calling the plays. I would have preferred Mullins to call the plays, but that's alright. He'll still be able to help get this offense to a masterful level. And Steve Wilkes, the guy I'm the most happy about, he helped out Carolina a whole lot, worked with guys like Luke Kuechly, Josh Norman, and he got fired after 1 year in Arizona, which I didn't really agree with, but then again, I'm not the general manager down in Arizona, so I don't get to make those decisions. But I'm happy. He's a very disciplinary guy. He runs a tight-knit defensive group, and he has helped Luke Kuechly win Defensive Player of the Year before. And let's not forget when Josh Norman had his breakout year. And then also, lastly, we have Mike Preferier coming off of 6 seasons from the Minnesota Vikings, probably the most highly recruited special teams coordinator from this year. He has been awesome. I'm happy the Browns got him. I really think he can take what was actually a really struggling special teams unit and hopefully clean them up and lead them into a great year next year. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video or subscribe if you'd like to see more videos just like this one. And please comment down below, do you think the Browns will be elite? Or what team do you think could possibly come out and shock people and become elite? Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye, guys.